Hey, this is Mike from Mike's Custom Woodcrafts. Welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, I talk about things like saws and woodworking projects and little jigs to make and tools, and I'm glad to have you here. And today we're going to talk about this Skill job site table saw and some of the features. It has a lot of features that people are looking for on more expensive saws on a lesser priced saw. And I think you're really going to like some of these features. The fence is something we're going to talk about, the blade, and some of the other things on it. I took it out of the box already. I didn't want to bore you with that, but let's work our way around. We'll start at the front, and here we go. Okay, some of the features I like is it has this on and off right here. It's got this big black plate here to shut it off. It also has a hole through here where you can put a lock if you don't want kids or somebody getting at it. So that's a good safety feature on the on and off switch. And then also, if you want to change the tilt of the blade, you would take this lever, lift it up, and it'll swing the blade to any degree. And another feature this has is it has 2 points past 45 and 2 before the 0. And what you can do is you can lift this up, and there's a button under here. You hit this little button and it'll take it 2 points before the 0 or 2 points after the 45. That's kind of sweet. Okay, then another thing here is your up and down for your blade. Here's your push stick, kind of in a unique spot. Just a plastic push stick. It's kind of nice though. It's a heavier duty, thicker one. And I kind of like the slot here. A little different than what you see in the other saws. And over here is your lever for your fence. This is not locked up, which will bring your fence this way, and down is locked. And the only real thing on this saw that there is to put together is the knob for your rack and pinion here. Let's do that right now. Okay, the knob just slips on. It's got one way it can go on. We'll line it up. And we got her on. That'll get you turning it with the knob. You don't need the knob. You can just push it like we did before and lock her down. Okay, now let's move around to the other side of the saw. On the right, on this side of the back, you have a 2.5-inch dust port, which is pretty sweet. And here you also have a holder for this directional port here. If you want to put a bucket or something under the saw, you can stick a bucket under here, have this thing blown to the bucket, or you can hook a shop vac up to that. And that just stays right there held. Okay, and then over here is a nut, and it has your 2 wrenches, and that's where you keep your wrenches. Okay, on the other side of this extender pipe is your kickback paw. This holds on just with a little clamp, just a little lever, and it fits in a little groove. Very easy to do. It's the same way you'd hook it up to your driving knife on top. Okay, on this left side, you have a cord wrap. Nice couple little cleats here to wrap your cord around. And then you also have your miter gauge. This miter gauge is a little cheesy, like you'd expect on a $300 saw, but it works. I mean, plastic, you know, and aluminum here, and that just slides into a little groove on that left side, and it pushes into a little U-clamp here. Okay, now on the top of the saw, you have this nice kind of a heavy-duty kind of plastic, and it's got a little lever here and a finger spot so you can get in there with your finger. Take it out, and with your riving knife here, get the blade up a little bit higher. With your riving knife here, you have this lever right here, and this lever comes up, and then this pulls out. It has a spring-loaded piece right here, and you just pull it to the side and pull it out. And it's the same way to put it in. There's a little detent pin here that goes in this hole, and that's what holds it in, but you can slide it to other positions. And you gotta kind of feel it where it's stuck in that detent, and you push the lever down and you're good to go. Okay, and this blade is a nice 24 tooth blade, and fine blade, extra fine, cuts really well, but the blade is a pretty decent blade for what they give you. Also, there's an adjustment for the riving knife, and I'll show you that real quick. There's two Allen head screws here, which can move this right or left, and that's a nice feature. Also below here, I wanted to show you another feature. When we were looking under here before, I should have showed you this adjustment here. This is an adjustment screw with a wing nut. You loosen the wing nut and you turn this, and that'll make your blade go right and left for adjustment to get it square to the fence. Okay, and now we'll put our plate back on. This plate also has 4 Allen head adjusting screws, and we haven't checked it for level, but I'm going to do that in another video. But this can be adjusted, flushed out. Also, back here, it has a nice little bevel piece, so that when you're moving a board through, it doesn't get caught on a lip, it just rides up it. Very slight, kind of a nice feature there. Okay, this fence comes on and off with these 2 little levers here. There's one in the front and one in the back. Comes right off, and there's 3 different pin points here. One here for cutting on the left side, one here for cutting closer to the blade, and a further one here for your widest cut, which would be on this scale here. Your widest cut is 25 3/4, and that's on this last pin. And these other 2 pins, you would read this top scale, which would be 21, and it looks like 7/8, but it actually is 22. So let's show you the fence on the pins and how they adjust. Okay, so the skill is always facing to the right. That's how you know you don't have this backwards. So if we go to the last pin, we clamp it down front and back. This will move all the way over. Say 25 3/4 cut. So this is kind of nice. You know, you can play with a 4x8 sheet and at least rip it a little bit more than half. You know, some of them run a little over 48, and you know, you got that taken care of then. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll go to the other pin to the inside of this. Now this will get you all the way to the blade. Now this fence has another feature. It's like a secondary kind of fence slash support. This will flip over like this. It just has like a little detent here that you can lock it down in. So you can go all the way to the fence or the blade with the fence like this, or you can take this and you can click it in here. And then what that does is it acts like a little fence to have a piece run on. If you got a smaller piece and you want to be able to get at it and have some room, and you don't want to be hitting this with your hand or hitting it with the stick, push stick, this is kind of just another little piece. Another thing you can do is you can take this, drop it to the lower level, and now this is actually a support for whatever you're running. I'll show you. Give me 1 second. If you're running a board and you have this extended out, instead of this being like this little piece will catch. It's a filler piece for the fence. I think that's pretty sweet. So all in all, this is a decent saw for the money, 300 bucks. It's got a lot of the features my DeWalt in the basement has. The only difference is the rip. This rip will go over to 25 3/4. That rip goes over to 32.5, I believe. It's an excellent saw. No problems. Works good. I'll have another video where I line everything up, and we'll cut some boards with it, and I'll show you how to do all that and how the board's cut. So look for that down the road, and I hope this helped you with your decision on it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. You guys are awesome.